We're going to go on a nice rum journey together. Hopefully, you're going to experience something new if you've never had Mount Gay before. And if you have, you're definitely going to experience something special today. My name is Miguel Smith. I am the International Brand Ambassador for Mount Gay Rum. And I'm really happy to say it's my second Berlin Rum Fest. And the first time was last year, and I had a fantastic time. This time around, it seems to be getting better and better. So I want to, really take my hat off to the organizers and say that you're doing a better and better job. And hopefully, rum will become as big as that other white spirit that we're not going to talk about. Now, we're going to start at the very, very beginning. Unfortunately, I know on the program it said that we were going to taste 4 expressions of Mount Gay. We're actually only going to be tasting 3. I'm happy to do little sessions after on the corner of the bar to my right with the 1703. But for this session, we're only going to be tasting the Eclipse, the brand new black barrel, which I'm excited to share with you for the first time, and of course, the divine Mount Gay Extra Old. So I'm not going to talk too much, because I know, I'm fortunate to represent a brand that the liquid pretty much speaks for itself. So I'm going to give you a little introduction to Mount Gay, a little bit about what makes us different. I think that's really important, being in a room of other rums, what differentiates us from the others. And then, of course, we're going to get to the meat of the matter, so to speak, which is a liquid to the mouth. Okay? So we're going to start at the beginning. Mount Gay rum, where is it from? Well, it's from a tiny, tiny little island, my island, actually, in the Eastern Caribbean. Now, that little red, that little small black dot circled with red is the island of Barbados. You can see it's a huge, huge country. All right, 166 square miles, population of 285,000 people, -1. And we are the home of rum. Okay, we invented the category. So I'm actually allowed to say in this room that all of this would not exist without us. Okay, this is a fact. And that's because we have the only surviving deed that states in 1703, February 20th to be exact, there was a working copper pot still on the plantation in Barbados. Okay, so this is where it all began, in the north of the island. Now, what makes Barbados unique, if you can imagine this is a satellite photo, the dark area to the north of the island is actually the transatlantic trough. Okay, now all the other islands came onto the Caribbean Sea due to volcanic activity. Barbados is the only one that over millions of years, a limestone deposition would have built up over time and gives the island a unique base. And what that unique base does is it gives us 99.9% pure water. Now, if you know anything about spirits or wine or beer, you know that if you start with really good water, you almost can't get it wrong. Okay, so already nature is on our side. Now, the island itself, this is a little map, 17th century map. The distillery itself is located on the north of the island, and this place, in a place called St. Lucie. And to this day, we still produce the exact same liquid on that spot for 310 years. Now, what that makes Mount Gay in the spirit world is the longest continually produced spirit in any category. That's very, very special. The rum is still made there with the same rainwater that would have fallen over the island over time. And we don't export rum to other places for dilution by batch or barrel strength. Okay? So it makes our rum very, very, very special. Now, a little bit about the name. Mount Gay, where does it come from? People always ask, well, why Mount Gay? Well, essentially, our forefather, a gentleman called Sir John Gay, and this is where you're hearing the name, he actually took over the plantation from his good friend, to manage the plantation from his good friend, John Sobers. And John Sobers wasn't necessarily a great businessman, but Sir John Gay was. And he already had a thriving sugarcane business. Now, if you've never seen sugarcane before, this is what it looks like. Now, sugar was a mass commodity in those days, and Barbados produced for about 200 years most of the sugar coming to Europe. So he had already inherited quite a lucrative business. So you can't speak about rum unless you speak about sugar cane. Okay? I know that we've got some agricole producers in the back of the room, but rum, as far as Mountain Gay is concerned, started with molasses being a byproduct of the sugar production process. All right? So he inherited this very, very lucrative business producing all this sugar. The sugar was going to Europe, and the molasses was left behind. Now, a little unknown fact is, in Barbados, we actually export all of our sugar. All of our sugar is exported. And the reason being is because we've got very high quality sugar. So a lot of pastry chefs, for instance, in Europe, are very concerned the quality of sugar. But of course, being smart Bajans that we are, we keep all of the molasses to make the rum. And in the 17th century, molasses was actually known as black gold. Because as time went by, the value of molasses was actually higher than the value of sugar itself. Okay? So, Mount Gay, that's the second point. So the first unique thing about Mount Gay is our water. The second unique thing is we use molasses to make our rums. All right? Now, our entire range, from, if you're familiar with our range, we start with the Eclipse Silver, then the Eclipse, the Black Barrel, the Extra Old, and the 1703. We always use molasses as our base. Okay? The second thing is they're all blends. So we use single and double distillates. And I'm happy to say that I brought a miniature replica of a double copper pot still. Sir John Gay would have been instrumental in bringing the technique of distillation to the Caribbean. You can imagine, 17th century, an island, very, very rugged, hard living, bringing copper pot stills across the Atlantic Ocean. So a little bit of insanity there, okay? Is that a question or? Oh, I thought it was a question, sorry. So your copper pot still, that's our signature style. So what characterizes Mountain Gay style is the use of the copper pot still distillate. Now that distillate is very robust in character, a lot of round earthy notes, and that represents itself through all of our entire range, okay? It presents itself from the liquid. Moving along, where did Eclipse get its name from? So post 1801, when Sir John Gay died and they renamed the distillery in his honor, Eclipse became Eclipse in 1910. Okay, so before 1801, it would have been known as Barbados Rum. After 1801, when Sir John Gay died, it became Mount Gay Rum. In 1910, when there was a full solar eclipse, you can imagine the eclipse of the sun would have been a significant event then. The sun goes black. It's a little bit of marketing. Before marketing was marketing, we, at that time, attached that event to the liquid itself. And this is where the name came from. All right? Now, the third thing that makes Mount Gay very, very, well, not necessarily unique now, but it would have been unique then, would have been the use of, and I've lost my bits, American ex-bourbon casks. Now, we only use grade A casks. And it's very, very important that you use grade A casks because anytime you're going to age rum past 10 years, for instance, in the Caribbean, we need to join barrels in order to go after 10 years. Now, if you start with grade A barrels, it means you don't have to run around your distillery looking for the best possible barrels in order to join to go further. Okay? If you start with grade A, we like to keep things very simple in the Caribbean. We like to keep things very simple in Barbados. Our capital is called Bridgetown. There's a bridge in it. We have a town called Hole Town. There's a hole in it. So if you start with grade A barrels, after 10 years, you can join those three together to make one barrel and go further. Another 10 years, 3 more to make one. And the reason why I'm saying 3 to make one is because the loss to the atmosphere, we've got something called tropical aging. We lose 3 times as much to the atmosphere in the Caribbean than in cold, temperate countries. All right? So it's like angel share in the whiskey world if you're familiar with whiskey. Okay? So those are the unique characteristics that make Mount Gay Mount Gay. We've got that crystal clear, pure limestone water. We've got molasses as our base. We've got aging in bourbon casks. And then we have our rum. Okay? Now we're going to taste. So I don't want to lose your attention too much. You need to make sure you have 3 glasses in front of you. We're going to go from your left to your right. And you're going to raise the first glass up. Now, I have the best job in the world. I pretty much get to travel around and taste rum with fantastic people like yourselves. And at this point, I like to say, I'm going to make you all members in the rum tasting army. Okay, so if you follow me, by the end of it, you're going to have 3 stripes. I think that's a sergeant. You're going to be a sergeant in the rum tasting army. So the first thing you need to do, you need to raise your glass. So raise your glasses. You're going to put on your most intellectually looking face you possibly could. So you look like you know what you're looking at. And we're going to say it together. Oh, wow. Look at that lovely golden liquid. Now, Eclipse, because it's a blend of single and double distillates aged between 2 and 7 years, it hasn't been in the wood very long. So by extension, it hasn't imparted so much color to the liquid. All right? The next thing you're going to do, give it a nice little swirl. You can release your face. And you're going to look at the rum leg. Now, depending on if you're Italian or French, I don't know who did it first, but I won't pick on that argument. It's those little droplets running down the side of your glass. Now, those legs will tell you a lot about the liquid itself. Okay? A fast-moving leg means that there's a higher concentration of single distillate inside. A slower-moving leg, more double distillate. Okay? I'll repeat that again. A faster-moving leg, so the droplets running very quickly down the side of your glass, there's more single distillate inside, and by extension, a slower-moving leg, more double distillate. All right? Now, those two distillates impart different notes, different flavors, different characteristics. All right? A single distillate will give you your citrusy, floral notes, and your double distillate gives you your earthy, round, robust notes. Very masculine notes. Sorry, ladies, but double distillates are considered masculine. All right? So you've looked at the color. You've looked at the legs. Now you're going to release the nose. And I already told you the answer. Because the leg is moving quite quickly on the Eclipse, there's more single distillate. So you're going to get more citrusy notes, more fresh, clean notes. Yes? Do we agree? Lemony notes. Citrusy fruit. Yes? Okay. And now we're going to taste. Now it's very important you listen to how we're going to taste it. You're going to put a drop on the edge of your tongue and just let it slide back. Don't shoot it back. Very lightly on the tongue. I'm going to come down and see if I can see something I'm looking for. High five. Right. So she did it. Most of you did as well. So you're all natural rum drinkers. As humans, we're born to be rum drinkers, okay? This movement that you've all done, well, 90% of you, it's because you got a very short finish. And what you're trying to do is to get the flavor back into the mouth in order to try to pick up some notes. What that means from a rum perspective is this is a fantastic mixing rum because it's a short finish, kind of like a white wine when you're having your meal where you want your palate to be clean and then you take another piece of food and it gets another flavor, another piece. Very, very, very short finish. What's the other thing you noticed? No burn. Warmth, but no burn. Now, Mount Gay rum, because we've been around for 310 years, we predate Coca-Cola and we predate ice, which means when this rum was being blended, we had to take in consideration that it was being consumed at room temperature. Now, room temperature in the Caribbean is 32 degrees Celsius. So we had to make sure that it was quite palatable, okay? So we consider this rum not an entry-level rum, but an introductory rum. This is a perfect rum to introduce to people who've never had rum before, and this is perfect to reintroduce to people who've had a bad experience or two with rum in the past, okay? Very, very easy drinking, yes? Very easy drinking, good. And that's Eclipse. So this will make some of the best mojitos you've ever had. This will make some of the best rum and ginger ale, rum and soda, rum and tonic. All your favorite mixers, this goes really, really well. All right? Not that I'm tasting it for the first time with you, but this is brand new. It's only available in the US, and now you have it. This is not available at the moment anywhere else in Europe. So we're going to have a nice taste and a story together. It should be your second glass from your left. Well, what makes Black Barrel special? Well, like Eclipse, it's 2 to 7 year of single and double distillates blended, but the difference is there's more double distillate. Okay? There's more double distillate, and the leg should show you that straight away. So we're going to taste it in the exact same way. Don't forget. You're going to pick it up, look at the color, your intellectual rum face. Beautiful golden. A little darker than the Eclipse. Look at the leg. The leg is slower than the Eclipse. If you want to compare them side by side, it's because there's more double distillate in there. Now, Black Barrel is very, very special. It's unlike all the other rums Mount Gay has ever made. This is unique in our range. The finishing process, it goes into whiskey barrels. So we've never used whiskey barrels before. And then those single and double distillates are blended and returned to American casks, ex-bourbon casks, okay? Heavily toasted. And this is where the spicier, more complex notes, black pepper and a lot of spicy notes will come from. On the nose, so it opens up with definitely all four of what are the key indicators that you're drinking a Mount Gay rum. You've got your banana, you've got your vanilla, you've got your mocha coffee notes, toasted almond. My nose is peaking to, there's almost a bit of chocolate, but more complex than the Eclipse. We're definitely going higher and higher in complexity. Yes? Do we agree? Okay, let's taste together. Again. Not so much this time around. Not as much as the Eclipse. It's a little more activation on the in the mouth. Is there a party for one starting? Yeah, party for one starting in the mouth. Spicier finish. Lots of black pepper, white pepper. Peter? Rog? White pepper in there. Definitely more spice. It's not a spice rum in terms of artificial or additives or flavoring going on. A lot of those notes will come from the charring of the whiskey barrel and the heavily charred bourbon casks. Okay? So, of course, straight away you're going to get a woodiness. There's almost a woodiness, hints of leather, but more stewed fruits. And we think that the spicier notes in this rum actually lend to the cocktail culture that's happening at the moment, where people are rediscovering classic cocktails, martinis, old fashions. It's great with mojitos. We're going to try one at the very end, so you can tell me what you think. Fantastic with Coke. Really easy, basic mixer. We're serving it at the bar all weekend. And we think that this is the future of Mount Gay, to be honest. So I hope you like it as much as I do. Good. And now, test. Oh, that's better. So your final glass. Now you need to make sure that you're disciplined enough to not take this last glass in one go, because we're going to taste twice with the extra old. Now, extra old is very special to us. This actually achieved a grand gold medal in 2001 for 10 consecutive years of gold. So we consider this the best rum in the world. Now, hopefully, after you taste it, you'll agree with me. And if you're an alien and you've never had rum before, this is the one you want to offer the aliens so they don't destroy the Earth. Okay? So I won't get extra old. Tasting the same way. We've been blending rum for 310 years. We're going to taste it the exact same way we did the other two. The color, this time around, single and double distillates, aged between 7 and 15. Darker color, it's been on the wood a little longer. Now if you look at the leg, now these are the only legs that my wife allows me to look at other than hers. Okay? And these are long. If you compare them to the Eclipse and you compare them to the Black Barrel, you have a slower moving leg. So there's definitely more double distillate inside. All right? On the nose, wow. It's those 4 distinctive Mount Gay notes again. Your banana, your vanilla, your coffee, your almond, but more. Stewed fruits, cinnamon, fruit cake. There's a joke that I usually tell everywhere I go. I was doing a tasting. You know, tastings are subjective. What I might find offensive, you might find absolutely lovely. And I did a tasting. At this point, someone shouted, "It smells like petrol." And I was offended. You can imagine someone said my rum tastes like smells like petrol. But then he said, "But I love the smell of petrol." So the thing about tasting is very, very subjective. Day by day, moment by moment, you'll get different aromas from this rum. Now those aromas, those notes, they're all expressing themselves naturally through blending. So Alan Smith, our blender, he will select the rums. When he blends the single and double distillates together, all those aromas coming out of the glass are through blending know-how and technique. And we think we know what we're doing since we've been doing it for over 300 years. Now let's taste together. Remember, we need to go twice on this one. Fantastic. And this time around, you're licking your lips. Saliva should be going in the back. Yeah. Still no burn, just a warmth. Very, very easy drink, very super smooth. So now you're all generals in the rum tasting army, and thank you for being patient enough to have the discipline to drink the rum with me. Thank you. Cheers.